Is the Wilmington, North Carolina housing market in a crash? Well, let's dive into that. So I've had a lot of you reach out and ask me the question, what's the market like? To consider it being a crash, first of all, we have to understand what a crash really means. In layman's terms, a crash basically implies that housing prices have dropped 20% or more. There are other factors that come into play there, such as days on market, things like that. So let's just give you a broad overview of what's taking place in the Wilmington area market right now compared to last year. So it's hot as a rooftop bar on spring break right now. Holy macaroni and cheese. So I got to do a little bit of work, but I figured I would go ahead and shoot this video because it's on my mind, it's playing along. So back to the crash. What does a crash mean? 20% or more in terms of a price reduction in homes. Let's look at that. Right now, last year to this year, 2024 to 2025, we're in June right now. Home prices have actually appreciated in Wilmington about 6% from last year. In terms of days on market, absorption rate, things like that. What does that mean? Let's pull this apart really quickly. Inventory, we have about 4.5 months of inventory. So in layman's terms, that means if we didn't put another single house on the market, it would take about 4.5 months to sell everything that's currently listed for sale right now. So we have things that are taking place. Days on market are increasing, right? So it's taking a little longer to sell a home. Inventory is increasing, right? So as we have more days on market and we have more homes coming on the market, things expand and they stretch a little bit. What does that mean? What does that mean? It means that you as a buyer right now, typically speaking, if you have a strong agent, you should get strong results. It's a great time to negotiate because we haven't seen this much inventory on the market since 2019. So the ability for you to negotiate with a seller and get the best possible situation, best possible outcome for you, it's a fantastic opportunity right now. But I want to wait. I want to wait for rates to come down. I want to see if the market drops. I want to see if it crashes. And what if it doesn't? So if you're playing the game of I want to be a day trader with a home, I want to buy a home today and I want to sell it next year without putting any money into it, I'm not talking about flippers. So those of you that flip, think of it this way. If you buy a stock, right? If you're the day trader and you buy a stock and then later that day or the next day you sell that stock based on extraneous circumstances, but you did nothing within that company to make that stock stronger, that's buying a house, doing nothing to it and hoping that you're gonna gain in a year, right? So if you're playing that game, you're gonna lose. But if you're buying and holding, buying and renting, you're probably gonna win right now, okay? So history says that over and over and over and over, time and time again, that housing appreciates in value 5-10 years, right? So back to the crash. Are we crashing? No, I just told you prices are up, right? They're not down, up 6%. Yes, inventory is rising. Yes, days on market are rising. Is that leading towards a crash? No, I don't think it is because there's so many other factors that are going to come into play there. But again, back to the buyer point, excellent time for you to negotiate an excellent deal. Does that mean you as a seller should not put your house on the market? Here's what I have to say about that. If you're trying to put your house on the market when you don't need to sell and you want to try to maximize the dollars you're getting out of it just for the sake of, let's test the market and see what's up, don't do it. But if you genuinely want to sell and make some sort of a transition, whether it be upsize, downsize, sideways size, move to a different area, roll that money into something else, another investment, roll with it. Here's the thing, there is a buyer for every house out there. The key to it is pricing your house right and making sure that we find that buyer. So it may take more time, right? Again, inventory is 4.5 months, which means, typically speaking, we're gonna see longer days on market, right? We're gonna see less buyer activity per single home, less showings per home because there's just more available, right? Makes sense? Makes sense. So let's touch on that a little deeper. In terms of the seller. If you've got a house and your house is superior to the others that are out there and that buyer is actively looking, who wants to own a home when you have to do all this work, all this maintenance all the time? If your house is better than everybody else's house and that buyer is looking, well, it's prime opportunity for you to actually do what you need to do and with a strong agent, get a strong offer, negotiate a strong offer. Because again, every house has a buyer. You just need to find the buyer. So put it on the market. Don't be afraid. Make the transition, make the move that you need to make. What I'm getting at is, sure, there are very specific periods of time where buying a house may not make sense, where the chaos behind it doesn't make sense, where you see things taking a nosedive. But overall, if you're going to buy and hold, it is a great time. I've never seen a vehicle that allows you to do more than real estate in terms of your investments. But I'm not gonna talk about buying property for an investment right now. I kind of went off on a tangent and I apologize for that. Long and short, is the Wilmington, North Carolina housing market in a crash? No. But is it a good opportunity for you as a buyer to be able to negotiate the best possible deal? Again, with a strong agent, hire a weak agent, get weak results. So yes, I think it's a great time for you to be able to buy and to be able to negotiate an excellent deal. Sellers, I still think it's a great time for you to put the house on the market, price it right, and get what the house is truly worth and what you deserve. So again, if you're experimenting and you're trying to get a Hail Mary, don't. Now is not the time, for sure. But don't be afraid. This market is not blowing up. Things are still moving. There are pockets here that are like exploding. There are pockets here that are kind of sitting and stagnant, right? Take it as it comes. That's about all I think I have to cover in this little video of whether or not we're gonna crash. I hope this helps some of you that are watching and are kind of thinking about making a move here as to what you can expect, what you can anticipate right now. This could all change next month, right? We don't know what's gonna happen with let's talk about the tariffs, let's talk about blah, blah, blah. No need, right? We don't know what's gonna happen, but right now, we're not in a crash. We're not seeing something where it's detrimental or the plane is falling from the sky. That's not gonna happen. It is blazing hot out here. I'm actually gonna finish up my work. I'm gonna jump in the pool and enjoy the remainder of my day. I've got about 3 hours left before I have another engagement that I've gotta get to. As always, I appreciate each and every one of you for watching. I don't know why you stick with me this long through a video like this, but until next time, peace.